Hey everyone, welcome back to Car Flash at the garage, where badge hype gets tossed in the glove box, spec sheet worship gets left at the dealership door, and what we're left with is raw, unfiltered, seat of the pants driving truth. If you're new here, buckle up, because this isn't your average glossy brochure walkthrough. This is about how a machine makes your pulse spike, how it sounds when you bury your foot into the firewall, and whether it's all just noise or something genuinely special. And today, we're stepping into a fire-breathing beast that shouldn't even exist in 2026, but it is the one, the only, 2026 Dodge Durango Hellcat. Exterior: yes, Dodge brought it back, just when we thought the Hellcat engine was riding off into the sunset of emission regulations. Dodge slammed its foot down one last time. The 6.2-liter supercharged Hemi V8 is back under the hood of this three-row monster, cranking out a jaw-dropping 710 horsepower and 645 pounds-to-feet of torque. It's loud, it's fast, it's absurd in all the right ways. But before we get sucked onto the thundercloud under the hood, let's start with what hits you first. The looks. From the front, the 2026 Durango Hellcat is still every bit the brute it's meant to be. The hood scoop and heat extractors scream aggression. The LED headlights are narrowed and meaner, flanking a blacked-out grille that no longer even pretends to be subtle. Everything about the front end says get out of the way. There's a revised front fascia with improved airflow, both for cooling and aerodynamics. But let's be honest, the most aerodynamic thing about this truck is the force of intimidation it puts on slower traffic. The new Hellcat badge on the grille is slightly updated, giving it a modernized glow effect that pulses when you unlock the car. It's a small touch, but adds to the muscle tech fusion Dodge is playing with here. Slide around to the side, and the profile doesn't hide what this is: a hulking SUV with unapologetic brawn. The stance is wide, low, and ready to lunge. Massive 20-inch wheels wrapped in Pirelli Scorpion all-season performance rubber give it grip and presence. Brembo brakes with bright red calipers peek through, reminding you that stopping power is just as important when you're hauling over 2.5 tons of muscle. The wheel arches are subtly flared, and there's a sharp body line running from the front fender to the taillight that gives it a kind of motion even when it's parked. Blacked-out window trim and optional carbon look mirrors give it that modern Street Fighter vibe. You'll also notice the ground clearance has been dialed down a bit compared to regular Durangos, helping it look even more planted. At the rear, Dodge keeps things aggressive but functional. The quad exhaust tips are fat and real. I know, fake chrome rings here. Hit the start button and you'll hear that they're doing more than just decoration. The LED taillight bar spans the width of the tailgate, pulsing briefly when the Hellcat roars to life. There's a new rear spoiler for a bit of added downforce and honestly, style, and a revised bumper that channels air more efficiently around the body. Hellcat badging returns here, too, though like the front, it's a little more sleek, a little more digital. It's a rear end that says, yes, I just passed you, and no, I'm not sorry. Interior: step inside, and the Durango Hellcat balances brute force with luxury tech in ways that'll surprise you. The cabin is wrapped in premium leather and suede, with optional Laguna leather packages offering quilted surfaces and contrast stitching. Dodge hasn't gone full minimalist, and thank God for that. The flat-bottomed steering wheel feels chunky in your hands, and the paddle shifters are metal, not plastic. The SRT badge glows on startup, and the 10.1-inch Uconnect touchscreen is crisp, quick, and deeply customizable. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, performance telemetry, launch control setup, it's all here. You've got a digital cluster that can switch between classic muscle car gauges, track timers, and even a G-force meter. The controls are physical, thank you very much, and there's a satisfying click to every knob and switch. The front seats are aggressively bolstered without being punishing, and they're heated, ventilated, and even massaging if you spring for the top package. The second row gets captain's chairs, also heated, and the third row, well, it's usable, which is more than you can say for most performance SUVs. Cargo space is generous, especially with the rear seats folded, making this not just the fastest family hauler, but a legitimately practical one, too. Now, let's talk performance. Because that's why you're here. Under the hood is that glorious 6.2 liters supercharged Hemi V8, pushing out 710 horsepower and 645 pounds-feet. It rockets this thing from 0 to 60 in just 3.5 seconds, which, for something this size, is almost disturbing. Top speed, 180 miles per hour. In an SUV with cup holders, power is sent through an 8-speed torque flight automatic transmission that's brutally quick when you need it and smooth when you're cruising. And yes, it's still all-wheel drive, which means it hooks up even when the roads get sketchy. There are selectable drive modes: Auto, Sport, Track, Snow, and Tow, each adjusting suspension stiffness, steering weight, throttle mapping, and shift behavior. Launch control is still here, and it works terrifyingly well. Hit it, and you're thrown back into your seat with a force that feels more roller coaster than family hauler. But this isn't just a straight line brute anymore. Dodge has fine-tuned the suspension geometry, updated the adaptive dampers, and improved roll control. The result: it actually corners better than you'd expect. No, it's not a Cayenne Turbo GT. But it's shockingly capable for something this big. And the sound of broken bar, good lord. The sound. The moment you crack that throttle, the supercharger whine rises like a banshee over the low-end growl of that V8. It's intoxicating. It's old school. It's anti-silence in the best way. And in 2026, when most SUVs are trying to whisper you into submission, the Durango Hellcat is screaming for attention and getting it. Now, let's talk price. The 2026 Durango Hellcat starts at around $96,000, and with options like the premium interior group, trailer tow package, red seat belts, and the 19-speaker Harman Kardon sound system, you can push this beast into the $110,000 plus territory. Is that a lot? Yeah, but what else gives you this much power, practicality, presence, and draw lunacy for under $120,000? Not much. Not with 3 rows, AWD, and a soundtrack that could make a Mustang cry. And that brings us to the end of this ride. The 2026 Dodge Durango Hellcat is a rolling contradiction. It's a family SUV that sounds like a NASCAR pit lane. It hauls groceries like it hauls ass. It's offensive to the future, loud, thirsty, unnecessary, and yet it's absolutely glorious. Dodge knows the era of combustion is ending, and this is their final middle finger to the whisper quiet of takeover. And you know what? It's perfect. It's not for everyone, but if you want to go out with a V8 roar instead of a whimper, the Durango Hellcat is your machine. Thanks for riding with us here on Car Flash, where we judge cars not by how many tic-tacs they star in, but by how they make you feel when the tires squeal. If you dug this review, hit that like button like it owes you money, subscribe for more unfiltered takes, and drop a comment below. Would you buy a Durango Hellcat in 2026, or has this beast overstayed its welcome? Until next time, keep your revs high and your expectations higher.